Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Bebop here. Today's video is going to be a review of the Chrono Odyssey beta weekend that we had just a few days ago. Sadly, it's ended, and now we have to wait for a future release date. But in the meantime, I got some videos going to be coming out about the dungeons, the boss fights, and everything else I experienced with a slow walkthrough and graphics display of the town and where everything is in that main town that you're originally going to get to. So stay tuned for future videos of that. Now, a little bit about me. I played New World the last 3 years in a row, and to hear about another MMO coming out that's more of an action-based combat was fascinating. Now, playing this beta this past weekend was a little bit of a roller coaster. I'll go over it all and wrap it up in a nice little bow at the very end of the video, and then talk about what I think the future may hold for this game and organization. All right, starting off here at the main screen, if you're sensitive to flashing lights, this game does have that throughout some of it, through the cutscenes of the boss fights or whatnot, so just forewarned. But when we're looking at the menu system here, it's laid out really nicely, very clean, easy to understand. The key bindings are easy to change. One thing you're definitely going to want to do is change the audio settings. The music in this game is so loud when you're loading up or when you're doing a cutscene through the boss fights. It is extremely loud, and even some of the settings that I went through here on the audio would not, take that tone down a little bit when you're going to the boss fight. So hopefully they'll get that adjusted when we get to the release. The biggest problem on the first day was no FOV, which still is not, it wasn't in the game throughout the whole beta.
What? You heard me. What?
And also the ability to scroll out of your character and not be right behind your character looking like it's FOV console. Okay. Now, on the second, third day, you were able to adjust how far the distance was of the camera to the back of your character. So that was really nice because you were able to get out pretty far. And that helped out cut down people's headaches that they were getting on the first day from the camera shake, which also there should be a camera shake off option, which there wasn't on the beta. But hopefully they'll get that situation taken care of before release. Now let's go and take a look at the different classes you could choose. You could choose the Ranger, you could choose a Swordsman, or the Berserker in this beta. They didn't have the other three classes unlocked. So maybe in the next beta, which I'm assuming they're going to have at some point, hopefully we'll be able to play those other classes. Now, the character creation was really detailed, and there was some really funky looking characters out there, and I created one myself, went into town, thought people were going to see it, laugh, have a good old time. Didn't realize other people had my same exact thought. Here's how that turned out. Went into town, saw a bunch of people that had some crazy looking characters, told them to get together for a screenshot, and then this person walked up.
Oh my God!
I was not expecting Slender Ma'am to walk up. Wow. Anyways, I don't know if they'll keep that character creation, ability to, come up with some crazy looking characters in the game at launch, but I thought it made it pretty funny. Wouldn't mind if they keep it. That way we don't take the games too serious. But yeah, there were some crazy looking ones out there. I'm sure we'll see some more in the future. Now, the first scene you're met with in the game is you waking up, this person taking you outside to fight in this battle. You're trying to escape the area. First, you got to kill some mobs before you can make it out. And the graphics look really, really good and crisp. What's cool about this area is you get your weapons that your character that you selected come with, and you get all the abilities. So you get a chance to try out that character before ranking it all the way up and getting all the weapons to, max level before you find out you don't really care for it. Now, once you get to the beach, you're going to be met with an area that you can rank up all your weapons at, and there's going to be a lot of enemies that spawn over and over. Feel free to do that on the beach and then make your way to town. Here you're going to find the contracts board, crafting station, teleportation area, places to discard any items, storage, and much, much more. I will have a full walkthrough of the town coming out in a later video, very detailed, where I go to each station specifically and show you how they operate. So you got to realize that a lot of these betas, or if it's a true beta, they're going to be testing server stability, right? So you're going to initially launch it, make sure everything's running up, good and smooth, everything's up. And then you can start adding a little bit more texture, a little bit more color, a little bit more and more and more, which they did. The second day, I think we had already an update and a server maintenance throughout all their servers. And when we came back in, the world looked like it actually had color. It was more vibrant, and everything felt a lot smoother. Now, I will say throughout the beta that the lighting was not optimal, okay? In the areas where it's very bright and then contrasted with the dark, the brights were extremely bright and the darks were extremely dark. I tried messing with the contrast, but now when I first got in the game, the contrast was already set up way too high, so everything looked really gray and foggy, and that's kind of how the opening beach looks anyways. But if you turn it down a little bit to about 50, it seemed to work out great. I think it was preset at 80, which was kind of crazy. But yeah, so the game actually started looking a lot better, but still some of the lighting issues they're going to have to smooth over. This is just me going up and down town on different settings, just kind of showing you what the graphics look like and how much they vary and change through what part of the town you're in. It was kind of weird, but yeah, overall the game still looks like it has plenty of potential for graphics to be, you know, upped, and just a beautiful, beautiful looking game. Now, it also has its faults. There are some glitches and visual glitches, so getting on your mount right here is sometimes a little bit odd because you're standing on your mount running around, and that's not supposed to be a thing, but hey, it would look kind of cool. So like any game, there's going to be some bugs and stuff they're going to have to fix. This one wasn't riddled or, you know, this wasn't broken by bugs at all. Okay, there was just some normal beta bugs, and that's what the beta's for, you to report those in and them to address them. So I still had a blast running around, and it did not affect the gameplay at all. And coming from New World background, I am used to a lot of bugs in the game, so this was nothing in comparison. Now, the labyrinths and the dungeons and boss fights, open world, you know, dungeons that you can actually get into from just running around, you find them and you can go into them, little trials or whatnot. They were actually pretty cool, and some of the graphics were on display in those. I felt like the graphics in those instances and the boss fights were absolutely what you'll see on opening day. As you can see here on the screen, it looks awesome, right? And so I think the outside world, just for server stability and whatnot, they were just very careful. Inside the dungeons or whatnot, I feel like they were amped up and it's good to go. I mean, I was really impressed by some of the graphics and the trials. There was one trial about drove me insane, and a lot of that is because the player movement, right? So you heard a lot of people maybe talking about the side to side and all that jazz. Well, in this little dungeon or labyrinth, you have to jump from platform to platform. Now, your character has a forward momentum carry, right? I'm not sure in gaming terms what it's called, but it doesn't just stop when you let off the, you know, going forward button, you know, whatever it is, you're on controller forward, you're on keyboard W. Okay, it's got like this 3 to 4 steps kind of thing, and you will drop off a lot of times. You have to really learn how to press back or how to gauge that, you know, point of where, you know, the character will end and stop early. Now, the double jump in this dungeon was a hit or miss. I don't understand why. Don't know if it's a debuff or whatnot, but sometimes that shit just was not there when you wanted it to be there. You go, hey, double jump, easy, boom. That one I just did, oh my god, I died like a billion times because double jump was not working. And then when you go in through this thing, it was pretty crazy because if you die or fall off, you start all the way back at the beginning, and that shit about drove me crazy in this labyrinth. Okay, I had a blast doing these. I like these little puzzles and these mazes and all that stuff. I'm really happy that they're in the game. I think it's pretty cool, and not just dungeons where you're going and boss fighting and all that jazz. Now, when it comes to crafting, there were some cool skins that were already in game. I'm sure they'll have more on release. The crafting was really made simple. You don't have to craft or gather a lot of low tier stuff to build up to the higher tier stuff. Each item has its own basically tier of materials you'll need to craft it. And that way, as you rank up and get higher, you don't have to go back and get all the low level stuff that you don't want to get. And then that lets the new people coming in get the low level stuff to build up their gear, and not everybody sitting there farming it and overtaking it from them. I thought that was a really good idea. So each item in each rank, you have the gray, the green, the blue, the purple, and then eventually the gold. Now, each one will take its own sort of level of material. The higher level enemies, the higher level areas, obviously are going to give the better materials. So you're going to need to farm up and look at your level before you craft the gear, because you need to be in that level zone before you can wear it. You are given the option to destroy items in your storage or on your person, but beware, you won't get anything back. If you take it to a certain person in town, have them destroy it, you will get material back, and you can use that material to enchant and upgrade your current selected gear, which was really cool. I thought that was a great idea. Instead of you just salvaging it and getting some little BS parts, and then, you know, it's actually put to a good purpose in this game. And as you can see on the screen, some of the skins already look dope. Those hands, gold like that with the purple, you know, wrist or the arm, forearm pieces look pretty cool. Now you do have light, medium, and heavy gear. Of course, when you go up in weight, you're going to go down in damage. The way they have the town set up where you could go to the weapons area, create any weapon you want at one station is nice. And also when you come over here, you can create your crafting tools, your ingots, your lumber, all at one station is really, really nice. You don't have to keep going around to station doing things, you know, one after another. You can simply do it at these main, well, there's an armor station, a weapon station, and then this station, I forgot what it's called, process station, I think it was. You can make everything at those 3 stations, and it makes everything a lot more simplistic. Now, farming early on to get these materials, it seems like it's going to be a nightmare, right? Because the farming is really slow. Even if you rank up and get the tools in your level at the highest, you know, you can at whatever, if you're, you know, level 5 through, you know, 15 or whatnot, or 15 through 25, it still takes a while to get the materials. So you're going to be mining, logging, and it's really slow in my opinion, but you don't have to have many materials to be able to craft these items. So I thought that was pretty cool. A little bit slower on the mining, gathering, and whatnot, but fewer items that you have to do that to be able to create your gloves or shoes or whatever you fancy. Now, opposite with the potions, okay? Me going around getting a bunch of, you know, what's it called? Not hemp, but herbs or whatnot to make the potions. And the potions having 1 minute cooldown was absolutely way too long. Insane, that amount of time. I think 30 seconds, 45 seconds, fine. A minute? Oh, bro, you crazy. And it takes a while to gather the hemp. I mean, if you're going to make, you know, 50 potions or whatnot, which you could easily go through in a hard boss fight that's maybe above your level and you're trying to really farm up ahead, maybe you're with a group of people or whatnot and you keep taking damage, then you can go through that stuff really quickly. So maybe they speed the tool gathering up just a smidge, and we'll see how that goes. Now, the trading post works like many other MMOs. You go up to it, you can search for whatever item you want, you can list whatever item you want, and you can set your own price. So feel free to use that. I'm sure if you're familiar with MMOs, you know what you're looking at here. It was very simplistic to find what I needed. The search engine worked really well, and everything was quick to process. It wasn't long load times or anything like that. So I was very impressed with the marketplace in the town, or the trading post. Now on to questing. I thought the quest line was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Some of the contracts, maybe it were glitched, or maybe I'm just blind old man and couldn't see where they were, but I'm pretty sure some of them were just glitched. Hey, it's a beta, it is what it is. It's just fine. They'll work on it. But the questing was really, you know, easy at times, maybe hard to follow on 1 or 2 quests, especially 1 in my opinion, but really, I mean, if that's a complaint, that's not that big of a deal. All right, questing needs to be a little bit of guessing every now and then. They're not going to hold your hand through it like, you know, a lot of games will. And I like the Elden Ring a lot. You know, it was a lot like that. Basically, hey, go out there, just like this game is kind of built off that Elden Ring model, where you start at the main base, and if you go a little bit too far a certain way, even at the beginning area, you run into a dragon that will just destroy you. Okay, so you got to watch out. There's some in-game bosses even around the beginning area, and some that will just absolutely take your life and soul and make you question why you're playing. But that was probably my favorite thing about this game, was running around in the open world, running into a boss over a hill when you're just trying to farm. You see a dragon or this big rock guy, and it's like, oh my gosh, will I be able to take this guy out or not? Let me try him. And then you realize, yeah, I'm not even close. My dodging isn't there, or maybe my level isn't there, and yeah, we probably just got to skedaddle and get out of there. That's what was so fun, man. The intense moments of, oh my gosh, let me get out of here, was often. And I thought the bosses were pretty cool. It definitely feels like an Elden Ring style game in that aspect. Now, I will say it's not as challenging as a Elden Ring, but it's still a good challenge that I feel like a lot of people, if they put the effort in, they can actually do. The variety of enemies was also another thing I thought was really well done. There was, scorpions and bugs and big rock dudes and dragons and all sorts of different type of enemies. Some I've never even seen before, don't even really know how to explain them. And I thought that was really cool and creative. It's not just the same 3 mobs. Let's say like Dune. If you play Dune, it's like the same 3 enemies the whole game. It just, it's kind of boring when it's like that. Another thing I really enjoyed is that they have solo trials and dungeons, and they also have team dungeons. Now, the team dungeons definitely got a lot harder. And man, there was a lot of enemies, and we tried. It was, I think, 3 to 5 people recommended, and we did it with 2, and it was a long struggle bus. All right, a lot of potions consumed, which meant go farm some more, and do it with a full squad. All right, make it easy on yourself, unless you want that challenge in game and you have a lot of potions to spare. But they were really well done. There was some oh my god what the hell moments when all these guys start rushing at you. You better get the heck out of dodge. I really enjoyed them, and I think that hey, later in the game, as the game continues, because we're all in the low kind of level areas, it's going to get even harder and hopefully longer dungeons, because I thought they were really well done. Really cool environment. They all had unique, look to them, and the boss fights, once again, I thought were cool. All right, so let's wrap it up here. We're gonna kind of go over everything real quickly. Loading in, music volume hella loud in the main menu and on the cutscenes to the boss fights. Please let us be able to adjust that. The no FOV might need to be something y'all, go back and look and consider. The distance from character will be working like it did the second and third day. It wasn't working perfect, but it was working. And not like it was the first day where there wasn't a, backup distance from the character. It made a lot of people nauseous. Some people got headaches. So that definitely needs to be in the game. The farming, maybe speed that up a little bit. It's a very minor thing. The lighting needs to be adjusted. Some of the graphics in certain areas, which, like I say, it's a beta, so they're probably just server testing load, right? But some of the graphics look like I was, playing Borderlands or whatnot. It just looked real cartoony or weird in certain areas. I don't really know how to describe the sky in one area. I wish I would have recorded it. Did not, but it just, man, it looked like a weird painting or something. I don't really know how to describe it. The combat could be looked at being smoothed over, and I feel like the character movement, especially when you go side to side, did not look smooth at all. There were some areas where you're either running uphill or going downhill, or if you're low crawling or being in water, it looked really layered. It just did not. It really took you out of the environment. You're like, wait, what is this? So it kind of took you out of the experience, which, maybe they'll address going forward. That definitely should be a thing. The combat, though, against the boss fights or whatnot, I thought was overall pretty good. I felt there may have been maybe a little bit of disconnect on, of course, the dodging, because I would never get hit, right? I mean, we're out here, dude. But yeah, I think that there was a little bit of lag sometimes with maybe what I wanted the character to do. Maybe that might have just been me, but it felt a little off sometimes. What I did like, though, was the action combat. You don't have to lock on. If you do lock on at times, it's very seamless. It worked great, and your shots will hit if you're doing more range stuff. If you don't lock on, your range may not hit if you're not looking directly at the enemy. Now, they can also move, and you'll miss that way. So if you stay locked on, and if you want to lock out a certain, abilities or whatnot, then that was an option, and it seemed to work pretty good. The amount of abilities, there was 4 abilities for each weapon. You get 3 different weapons per class. So I thought that was really interesting. It's actually a good mix. 3 weapons, you got 4 abilities. That's 12 abilities. That's a lot of math too. And it really made for, just playing all the different weapons and just having different combos that you could set up to help support whatever the main goal of your character is. So with my rapier, I was kind of doing some bleeds, some poisons, and then I would shoot over to the dual crossbows, which I was having a blast with. I loved the movement of that. And then adding some more poison dots and whatnot. I really enjoyed that class of the Ranger. The Berserker was probably the most fun if you're just going to go straight melee. That's why you saw everybody rocking it, right? I don't remember seeing many people go swordsman. Nobody really wants to be a tank, I guess. So if there's a way to make it more exciting. The class I didn't play with that much was the swordsman, so I can't really elaborate too much on it, but from the little bit I did play on it, I was kind of like, it's all right. But in the first, 15 seconds of the Berserk class, I already knew, like, yeah, this is the most fun for sure. The rapier was cool, and the dual crossbows were dope. The bow, I didn't really like at all. So it was definitely Berserker out of the 3 that we were able to play, and then the Ranger for me, Swordsman last. The music in the game was really good. Very cinematic. It got me into the mood of the certain scenes, certain dungeons, certain boss fights. Thought it was really beautiful, and I think they did a great job with the music. That's a big thing for me. If the music is whack in a boss fight or going through the game, I don't know, can't get down with it. That's one thing that keeps me playing Dune, is the music. It just feels like I'm playing a movie or whatnot, so I really enjoy it. The amount of enemy types is another positive that I think they did a great job on. Also, the ones you can summon to fight alongside you look absolutely insanely good, and that made for some interesting boss fights. The weapon XP was a little bit slow on the grind. If you get in the game and it's like that, you probably should stay on the beach and just rank up your weapons at the very first area, okay? Because my buddy ranked that up in no amount of time, and he got his weapons to above 10 or so in probably less than an hour. Now, when I was playing the beta, it took forever to rank up the weapons. So just stay on that first beach and rank them up there. But overall, I mean, that's pretty much the positive negatives that I have that I can remember playing. I really enjoyed the beta. I'm sad that it's gone. Hopefully this game comes out at the end of the year. Is it ready for release? Not right now. No, not in the current state. I feel with any release that is rushed ahead and isn't fully ready when it comes out, I know a lot of games just like, well, y'all test it, y'all let us know, and then we'll work on it as we go. I feel like that sets the game up for failure. This game, I really want to be amazing. I feel like if they were really holding back in this beta, then okay, at the end of the year, I could see this coming out. But maybe next year it should come out at the end of the year and really put all your efforts into making it a great MMO for long term. And not just we released it a little bit too soon. We kind of regret that. New World went through that where they came out, million players, and then everybody realized there was bugs and all these issues, and it dropped off dramatically, never recovered. And I really don't want this game to be that. Now, I think the dev team is probably going to be a lot better in this game. It already felt like it was really good. And then the whole atmosphere of the game of a New World action type game mixed with Elden Ring. I mean, I couldn't think of a better game to me. So I'm really excited for this. Hopefully they come out with it at the end of the year and everything is good to go. But we shall see. If there's any future betas that come up for release, I'll be a part of it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. I'm Bebop. I make New World videos and other type of content. Feel free to check it out. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask me anytime in my community Discord. I answer back all the questions when I see them. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a good day, good week, and I'll see y'all then. Later.